Hello my sweets, it's Keisha. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, thank you for joining me, and I hope you consider subscribing. Today I'll be showing you how I made this easy patriotic wall decor. As a bonus, I'll be showing you how I made some rocket picks to decorate the farmhouse bicycle wall decor I made in my last video. If you missed that video, I'll have it linked below in the description box as well as at the end of this video. Alright, let's get to it! The board that I started out with looked like this, and I have removed the design that was on there, and I've taken out the hanger and filled the holes here. So next I'm gonna come in with this ocean Waverly chalk paint, and I'm going to paint the sides and the top of it. Next I'll be painting over this sign here. It's a hanging decoration. I've already removed it from the hooks. I just wanted you to kind of see how it came. And I filled one of the holes with the Dollar Tree spackling like I did the other sign, and I left one open. So I'm going to be painting it here with the Ivory chalk paint. Okay, I'm going to set this aside to dry. This is likely going to take a couple of coats. The ocean has had time to dry, and I did end up doing 2 coats on this. Next I'm going to come in with this navy blue by Craftsmart, and I am going to dry brush some of this onto this board. I did put just a couple squirts of water from my spray bottle and it just to kind of thin it down a little bit, and so we're going to be using that. After I do this dry brush step, I'm going to come back in with the antique wax and dry brush over that again. If that makes sense. Alright, so I'm going to set this aside to dry a little bit, and we're going to move on to the next step. Alright, so the star here, this actually took, I want to say 4 or 5 coats of the Ivory paint. So next what I'm going to do is come in with the Crimson by Waverly. I don't know if you can see that. Crimson by Waverly. And I'm going to paint every other section with the crimson. I ended up doing 3 coats of the crimson on this star. And then any spots that I may have accidentally gone over, I just went back in with the Ivory and touched up the lines. If you don't want to do it freehand like that, you can most certainly tape off your areas so you don't have much bleedage. Now this is still a little too stark for me, so I am going to add some of this wax to kind of darken up the ivory color a little bit, and I'm going to use the baby wipe just because that usually helps for the color to not go on as dark as it normally would with just a brush or a sponge. Okay, and sort of that color right there is what I'm looking for. So I'm gonna come back in on this one here too and see if I can't rub down some of these lines a little bit. Okay, so I went on Google and I found this saying here that I want to put on my sign. So I just printed it off from there and I'm going to transfer it using the chalk method. So what I'm going to do is scribble on the back with the chalk and then lay it on the sign and transfer the letters. Now I'm going to take some painter's tape and just kind of tape it down so it doesn't move on me. Okay, so next what I'm going to do is go over this with a Sharpie oil-based pen in white and try my best not to smudge the letters so I can continue to follow them. After the paint pen had completely dried, I went ahead and cleaned off the chalk residue, and then I came back in with the Waverly Antique wax and just went over this to kind of knock down some of that bright white that was showing, just to kind of give it a little bit more age. So now the next thing that we need to do is the hanger for it. So this is the piece where the star actually came off of, and I thought I could go ahead and utilize this. And what I'm going to do is actually wrap this wire portion of it with some twine, and I had previously cut some off, but it comes in a big roll like this. I got this from Walmart. I believe it was $4.98 for that roll there. So you can most certainly use the Dollar Tree twine. I just want something a little bit thicker so I'm not here winding forever. So I'm going to go ahead and put some hot glue and stick this down here, and then I'm just going to start wrapping it. And I'm going to wrap it all the way to the other side and glue it down the same way. So I'm finished wrapping the handle here, and what I ended up having to do, because this part that I hot glued down kept popping up, so I tied knots around the actual handle part on this side, and then I still used hot glue. I also realized what I was going to do is connect it to the sign in this direction, but I'm realizing now that, or earlier, that this part is pretty sharp, and so I don't want that kind of gouging into the wall, so I'm actually going to turn it this way and glue it on this way. So it's not here. Needs to come forward a little bit. So had I been thinking, I probably would have done the knot closer to the side than onto the back, because I was thinking I was going to glue this side down, and then I realized I probably shouldn't do that. So I'm going to glue it down using a strong adhesive and hot glue. And if we look here, this is actually another, sorry, let me just take a moment to do this here. This is actually another DIY, like this is a lost opportunity for me, but not for you, because I didn't even think about this, but this could be a double-sided sign if you wanted to use this portion here for another sign, and then you'd have the handle for both sides. Just an idea. So I'm going to use this Quick Grip by Beacon. And since we have this star out, what I'm going to do is end up wrapping some twine around the edge of the sign, but I want to attach this to the twine also. So I'm going to put a piece of tape on the end. I'm going to put a piece of tape on the end. I just kind of want to get this out of the way so that I can tie a knot. And I'm just going to glue these to the back. And I'm going to take and glue this area right here. Am I in the shot? Okay. So I'm going to take and glue the twine down on this side and then swing the star back over, and that'll cover all of that hot glue that's right there. Also, if you decide to do a double sign, you could just glue this one side and then you'd have that other side free. In addition to the hot glue, I did add Quick Grip to keep the star in place. The last thing I'm going to do for these is add some additional stars on here to kind of jazz it up a little bit. I got these stickers from Dollar General. It's an 18 piece. I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, it was $1.50 for this pack of stickers, and you get gold and silver. Today I'm going to be working with the silver ones, and I'm just going to put these on here randomly. Okay, and this is all done, so stay tuned to see how I style it. So I'm starting with an empty toilet tissue roll, and I have a piece of cardstock here that is about 6 inches long by the length of the tube here. So if you have the paper towel rolls, you can certainly make these taller, or you can even make these shorter by cutting them and making them different heights. I'm going to go ahead and work with the original length that it is. So what I'm going to do is start by gluing down this piece of cardstock that I have here. And I would recommend, if you have the time to wait for it to dry, to use like craft glue. I'm just doing this in the the interest of time here. So I'm going to attach this here by rolling it, attach it on the other side by rolling it around. And I'm gluing it here on the other end. Okay, so you should have something that looks like this. So now I have some strips here, and I actually didn't measure these. I just kind of eyeballed them and cut them with my paper cutter. The length is about the length of the toilet paper roll here. But as far as the width, I didn't do any type of mathematics on that. But it is looking like they're about 1/2 inch. So I'm gonna glue the first one over this seam here. Okay, then I'm going to take this one here and use it as a spacer. Actually, let me go this way. This might be easier for me. So now I'm going to take my glue and run a strip of glue and I'm just going to continue to go around like this until it's covered with the white stripes. Next, I made a 4-inch circle template to make a cone, to make the top of our rocket here. And then I cut out a triangle out of it, or like a piece of pie shape, so that I could get it to curve. You can do, the 4-inch is best for the size toilet paper roll. You may have to experiment with yours if you do decide to recreate this craft. Also, how much you cut out is all dependent on how wide you want your top of your rocket to be. If you wanted it to be skinnier, you would cut out more, or if you want it wider, you would cut out less. But you do want to start with a circle. I just found this easier to make as a template. So then I traced it onto blue cardstock, and now I'm going to curve this around and fasten it with some hot glue. I think I squeezed the little too much glue out here, but that's okay. We're facing that to the back. So now I'm gonna find the seam. There it is. And face the back seam with this back seam. And that's just because I want to line them up, hide them, put them in the back. All right, so I'm going to take some glue here and put it around the rim and then place the top on. You just want to set it down on there and let it get set up. And this is what we have so far. Now, you don't have to do this exactly as how I'm doing it here. You could even look at doing the stripes this way, or even switching the colors, blue down here, red up here. You don't even have to do these colors at all. It's completely up to you. So next, what I'm gonna do is take some of these star beads that I found at Dollar Tree, and they don't have white, but they do have silver in here, so I am going to go ahead and do silver. And then I'm going to throw in a couple of the gold ones as well. So these come with silver, gold, and like a bronzy color. And it didn't tell me how many came in the package. It just says that it's metallic beads and it's 1.2 ounces. So I'm just going to randomly glue these on here. Alright, so this is what we have so far. And you can also go even further with this with different ribbons if you want to add glitter. There's a lot of different things you can do. So the next thing I'm going to do here is I have these, they're called glitter fuzzy sticks, but I got these at Walmart, but they're the, just reading that messed up my, these are pipe cleaners, or I forget what the new name for them are, but what I'm going to do is take a red, silver, and a blue one out of this container here. And then I'm going to cut them in half. Okay, next I'm going to curl them up. I'm going to use a different apparatus for each one. So this one is the skewer that I'll also be attaching to this to make it into a pick. So I'm just going to wind this around here. And I have a bigger dowel here. And this is just to give them different textures and whatnot. And I remember the names of them now. It's a chenille stem is the new name for pipe cleaners. So it finally came to me. And then for the silver, let's do a pen. So I'm just going to use this Marks a Lot. And this is completely optional. You don't have to do this step. Also, you don't even have to use these chenille stems. You can use, what I had planned on using was some of those streamers, but I couldn't find any, so I just decided to go with this. So next one, excuse me, I'm sorry. Next what I'm going to do is find the back and decide how long I want this stick to be. And let's cut this much off. And I'm going to use my trusty dog nail trimmers. Just cut that off. I'm just going to put some glue. And stick that right up there. Okay, and next I'm just going to group these red, silver, and blue. And I'm actually going to glue them up on the inside on the front. And there you have it. So we've got two little rockets that can be used as picks. If you've enjoyed this video, hit the like button and leave me a comment below. If you'd like to see more, subscribe and choose all notifications so you don't miss my next video. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, love, inspire, create. See you next time.